this is Katie. In today's video, I want to talk about the whole idea of not being ready. So I just want to have a little quick mindset chat, talking to you guys about, I don't know, I just think that a lot of the times when people say something like, I'm not ready, they're lying to themselves and they're using it as an excuse. And I just want to talk about that. And obviously I might pertain it a little bit to traveling because that's what I've done a lot in my life. And that's what I've heard a lot of people make excuses about them not doing. And so I just kind of want to talk about this topic a little bit in this video. So if you're interested in this kind of like psychological mindset chat, I really hope that you're subscribed and I hope that you keep watching. Okay, I have a couple notes on my phone, but honestly, I'm mostly just gonna be like chatting. And this video is probably gonna be pretty quick. And I say that in all my 45-minute videos. But yeah, I just feel like okay, let me start out with saying that I think a lot of people make excuses and try to convince themselves that they're reasons. And how I see the difference between an excuse and a reason, I see a reason as both of my legs are broken. I'm currently in the hospital hooked up to machines. So that is why I cannot go to dinner with you tonight. Okay, that's a reason. There's also reasons that pertain to priorities. And so I have homework tonight. That's why I'm going to choose doing my homework versus going out to dinner. That's a reason because it is your choice of your priority. But saying, oh, I have homework tonight, but that's why I'm not going to go out to dinner. But in reality, the homework's not due for a week and a half and you just don't want to go to dinner. So you're blaming it on your homework and you probably aren't even going to do your homework. That's more of an excuse. Or an excuse, I think Gary Vee said this like really well. If you guys don't follow Gary Vee, I think he's awesome. He talks a lot about like mindset stuff. And one of the things that he said to differentiate between excuse and reason is basically an excuse is if you're saying that you can't do something when someone else in your exact situation is already doing it. So for example, if you say, I can't travel because I have kids, that's not a reason. That's an excuse because there are people traveling with kids. So clearly it's possible. So maybe I feel like if you're someone who says something like, oh, I can't travel because I have kids, I feel like it's generally because of one of two actual reasons. One could be, I don't want to travel with kids. It sounds just like something I don't want to do. Or in the similar vein of, I'd rather travel by myself, or I'd rather travel with my kids, but over the summer, and right now it is school time, or I'd rather not, travel all the time with them because I want them to stay at home in the same school. Those are actual reasons. But on the other hand, if you're saying I can't travel because I have kids, it could also just be an actual excuse where you're kind of blaming your kids when in reality, there's something else going on. Maybe you're scared. Maybe you just straight up don't want to travel, but you're using your kids as an excuse, And so I think that there's a lot of different ways to think about this stuff. Someone's pulling just right in front of me. Why do I still get nervous? I have absolutely no idea. Look on my phone and look at my notes. I don't know why I still get nervous. It's ridiculous. I've been doing YouTube for 7.5 years. I still get nervous when people see me. Anyway, so basically, I think sometimes when we say an excuse, it's actually hiding the real reason. And sometimes it's just because we don't actually even know. We literally just don't know. And so we'd rather just make an excuse and blow it off. Maybe if you're saying I can't because, maybe it's because you really don't want to. Maybe because it scares you. Maybe because nobody else around you is doing it. And so you're just kind of like settling. Maybe everyone around you is trying to convince you not to do it. So you're just kind of going to listen to them. Or maybe there is something else, but you're more like embarrassed to admit it. There could be a lot of actual reasons. But I think it is so easy to just blame, oh, I can't go to dinner because I have homework, but you're not going to do your homework that night, And I think that a lot of people lie to each other, but I think a lot of people lie to themselves. And since our culture kind of allows lying a little bit more than I think it should, I think lying is horrible. Even something like, I can't go to dinner, I have homework, and you're not going to do your homework, that's a lie. You might think it's a white lie, it's not hurting anyone, it's still a lie. And once you start with the white lies, where do they end? Where's that line? You know what I mean? It's kind of like you're trying to figure out like where the sin line is. It's like, no, don't even figure out where the line is. Just run away from it. So lying in general, I think, is a bad thing to do. But sometimes we do it without even noticing. And that's where I want to get into this whole like I'm not ready thing, because it's really an excuse versus reason type thing. But also it's a lying to other people and lying to yourself, and you might not even notice. So basically, if we're going into the whole I'm not ready, let's talk about travel. You know, oh, I'm not ready to do it right now. Maybe in a year, maybe in 10 years, maybe when I retire. That's my least favorite thing that people say, is maybe I'll travel when I retire. It's my least favorite thing. The only way I'm kind of okay with that is if you're retiring next year. Okay, but if you are 20 years old and you're like, I plan on retiring about 65, I'll probably travel then. Maybe I'll get an Airstream and travel then. I hate when people say that. You know why? Because you, might never retire. Something bad might happen before you get to retire, and you might not have the chance to travel in the way that you could when you're younger. Or even when you're older, you might not even want to anymore. You might not want to anymore. I am such a big advocate on you could be dead tomorrow, so do everything that you really, really think is good to do. Just do it as soon as possible. And hopefully that can line up with what you want and all that kind of stuff too. But if you know something is right and you really think that it lines up with what you should be doing in your life and your life goals, do it as soon as possible. So if your goal actually is, I want to be a millionaire when I retire, okay, then that does take a lot of planning. But if it's just, I want to go to Italy for a week, all right, I'll do it when I'm 65. Why aren't you doing it now? There are definitely some things that take planning, but a lot of things, again, this is my humble opinion on this kind of stuff. Some things take planning. Some things take time. Some things you are going to have other goals and priorities before that thing. So you might be like, I want to go to Italy for a week, but I want to save up the money first. So I pay cash. I just started a new job and I really do want to stay here for 6 months before I take time off. And also I want to go with 2 of my friends and we have to schedule that. There are some things that actually make sense to wait a little while. But a lot of the times that people say, I'm not ready, I can't right now, they're just lying to themselves because they don't want to put the work in, or because the idea of it either sounds nice, but they don't want to execute it, or the idea sounds kind of nice, but they don't have any plans on doing it, but they like saying that they want to do it to sound cool. And, I feel like I was talking about something else and then I went on a tangent, now I forget. Anyway, I just think that a lot of people say, I'm not ready, when what they mean is, I'm scared, I don't know how to do it, I want someone to do it for me, or even just simply, I don't really want to do it. But again, I think just people lie to themselves. There are going to be some times that some things sound cool to you. Going on a road trip by yourself might sound cool to you. And I honestly think that, I don't think everyone would enjoy it, but I do think that if you kind of think you might enjoy it, that it's a really good idea to do it because you can learn a lot, right? And it could be really fun and just a different life experience, But it's definitely not for everyone. And so you might be around people, or you might be watching some YouTube videos and be like, oh, that looks so cool. There's a difference between something looking cool and you wanting to do it, or you thinking it's right for you. Those are different things. I think a lot of things look cool. I think scuba diving looks cool. I don't want to do it. 0%. You will never, probably not. I don't really like to say super never, but you'll probably never see me scuba dive. I don't like the idea of that. I don't like it. But I think it looks cool to do for other people. Like we're all different, right? And I think sometimes people get so wrapped up in, yes, we're all different, but I still want to fit in with everyone. So in reality, I want to act like they act. I want to say that I like what they like. And I just don't want them to question if my ideas or my desires are different than them. It's a group mentality and a lot of people have it. It's super, super common. But so then I think that does go into we lie to ourselves sometimes. Oh, well, 3 of my friends are talking about going on a road trip. So does that mean that I need to do it too? Or 3 of my friends hate the idea of going on a road trip, but I kind of want to do it. So does that mean I shouldn't do it because it's different? And I'm not saying we all do this, but it is common to do it. It's common to not have your own thoughts if the people around you have strong thoughts. It's a common thing. So that's why I make so many mindset videos to hopefully kind of push you gently and lovingly, but push you guys to be you are allowed to be different than the people around you. If you really, really want something, if you really, really think something is right for you, that it's best for you, and that God wants you to be doing it, it does not matter if the people around you think that it's cool. It doesn't matter if the people around you think that you should wait. This whole video is, I'm not ready, I'm not ready. You might think that you're not ready for something. And it could be anything. It could be traveling, it could be quitting your job, it could be starting a family, it could be getting married, it could be literally anything, any goal, any life change, anything. I'm not ready. Why are you saying it? This is kind of what I was getting at before this. Sometimes we lie to ourselves and we don't even know. But if you say, I'm not ready, why are you saying it? Because here's the thing. Being ready is a feeling. And you guys know what I say about feelings. It's kind of like the motivation and discipline thing. If you are waiting until you feel motivated to get something done, then you're just waiting on something that is not under your control. Why would you do that when you can have discipline and do things even if you don't want to do them because you know that they're right to do? And so I think it's very similar with the I'm not ready. Of course, there are some times that waiting is a good thing, or that not doing something is a good thing, because we are not all meant to do everything that everyone else does or everything that's available to us in this world. We are all not meant to do everything, okay? And also, we are always not meant to do things at the time that other people do them. You know, you might be surrounded by people who got married at 23 and you're 25 and you might be thinking, wait, but I don't feel ready to do that, but why did they all do it? Because you're different, and that's okay to be different. And maybe it's actually not good for you to get married at 25 or 23 or ever. It goes into the whole not comparing yourself while also being honest, because sometimes when we say we're not ready, it is being honest, but also sometimes it's waiting on an emotion. So do you guys do you hear what I'm saying? That you might be like, I'm not ready, because the reality is you don't want to do it, or you know it's not right for you. In your gut, you hear God telling you, you know it's not right for you. So if it's that type of I'm not ready, then I think that that's good, because you're actually listening to what's going on in your brain and your gut and what God is telling you, and looking at your own life, being self-aware of your own life, being like, I am not ready to do that. That does not line up with my goals right now, my priorities right now, what I want right now, what's best for me right now. No. But there are definitely going to be times where you say I'm not ready because you're postponing it because you're scared. I'm not ready to travel yet right now because I'm scared, because everyone around me says it's a dumb idea, so I'm just going to pretend like I'm not ready. And it's like, why? Why would we do that to ourselves? Because sometimes, it's going to be 5 years later and you're going to be like, crap, I wish I did that thing 5 years ago, because now I physically can't, or something really changed. Now I can't do it. And so I just sometimes think that I'm not ready is a cop-out. Again, but I think it takes a lot of listening to yourself and being self-aware, being honest with yourself. Am I really just saying I'm not ready because I don't want to do it right now? Because it's something that sounds nice and that I do want to do one day, but I have 4 other priorities first. Okay, then you're being honest with yourself. But it's easier to lie to ourselves, right? It's really a lot easier to be like, oh no, I'm just not ready to do that right now. I'll just do that. I'll do that one day. One day is not a real day, guys. One day is not a real day. If you're saying, okay, I'm going to do it, but I want to plan some stuff first, so it's going to take me a month. Okay, great. Or a year. Okay, great. But honestly, if it gets longer than that, you might be making excuses for something. Maybe you don't really want to do it at all. Or maybe you're giving into what society is saying is normal. Well, I can't just take 2 weeks off my job to go travel. I can't get married at 21. I can't, get a 6th puppy. There's going to be things that people around you say are crazy. And that does not mean that they actually are. It just means that they want to limit you because they limit themselves. And so another thing about the whole, I'm not ready, I think I have it on my phone. Again, the whole feeling, the motivation thing, if you're saying I'm not ready, we do things that we're not ready to do or that we don't want to do all the time. You can say, oh, I'm not ready to do my taxes right now. Well, why aren't you ready? I mean, maybe you're not ready right now because it's September, but if it's February, are you not ready to do your taxes because it's February 1st and you're waiting on the last couple tax documents to get mailed to you? Is that why you're actually not ready? Because you don't have everything? Or are you saying you're not ready because you're lazy? Or because you just don't want to do it? So again, that's where the whole, and that's a very poor example, but I think that you guys know what I'm talking about. That sometimes there's going to be excuses and sometimes there's going to be reasons. And it goes with anything that we want to do, that we have to do, like our taxes, but that goes to that too. If you say I'm not ready, there's a lot of things that we're really not ready to do, but we do them anyway. There's lots of times that we might actually not physically, emotionally feel ready, but it does not actually mean that we're not ready. And it also does not mean that we should follow it. A lot of our emotions do not need to be followed. They're just kind of things that are happening. It's okay to acknowledge them, and sometimes it's okay to follow them, but to just blindly 100% of the time follow our emotions is rarely going to always work out in our favor. Our brain and our emotions don't really want us to do things that are out of the norm, because the main focus of a lot of the inside of our body is to keep us alive and to keep us safe. And there are just going to be things that are still pretty safe to do, but that our brains are just going to probably try to talk us out of. But it does not mean that we have to listen to them. I just firmly believe that sometimes for some things that are right to do, we're never going to feel ready, but it just doesn't mean that it's bad to do just because it feels off. It's the same when I talk about fear. You might feel fear, but it does not mean that you're not supposed to be doing what you're doing. Maybe sometimes don't chase a bear, you know, or don't like run from a bear, because that's not very smart to do, but you're going to feel that fear, right? But you might feel the fear of asking a girl out for the first time. Doesn't mean not to do it. It just means that it's something different or something new. Feel the fear and do it anyway. It's very, very, very similar to the I'm not ready. And I wanted to specifically bring up I'm not ready as kind of the focus of this video, even though I've talked about, you know, motivation and fear and other things, because I feel like I'm not ready is such a common thing that people say. And it's a common excuse. And again, it's very different to say, I'm not ready, I'll be ready in 5 minutes because I gotta finish my makeup, versus I'm not ready to travel right now, so maybe in a couple years. But then a couple years might go by and you might actually be honest with yourself then and be like, you know what, there's no such thing as ready. Just do it anyway. If you know it's right for you, and if you really, really want it, and if it's a goal of yours and it's not messing up your other priorities in your life, do it. Figure it out. It still might take you a while, but saying something like I'm not ready is almost going to limit yourself. And I think there's a lot of words and phrases that we say out loud or we say to ourselves that limit ourselves. I do it too. I don't talk about this stuff because I'm perfect at it. I talk about this stuff because I firmly believe that these things are real and they're really, really going on. It's a lot of self-sabotage. And so I want to talk about it in hopes that I can help all of us really just keep this kind of stuff at the forefront of our brains. Okay, am I saying this, whatever it is, am I saying it as an excuse? Am I saying it as a reason? Am I saying it as a cop-out? Am I saying it because I'm scared? Why would we wait for one day when we literally don't even know if we're going to be alive in 10 minutes? And I know a lot of people don't fully think that way, but like living in the moment, I think it's really good to have certain plans for the future, certain long-term goals, certain priorities, 100%. But there are going to be a lot of things that it's like, do it as soon as you can. Do it as soon as you can. Like, I really think that's an important thing to do in life. And it does not always have to be these extravagant things, but you might just want to start a new hobby that's free and that only takes, 20 minutes and you have the time, but you might still be like, oh, I'm not ready yet. A lot of that could be a mindset shift. Maybe you're scared of something new, even if it's not really seemingly a big deal. Maybe you are just so comfortable in your life that you don't want to change anything. Why though? Why are you selling yourself short like that? You are capable of so much more. And I know I talk about this stuff all the time, but I'm going to continue to talk about it because it's really important to me. I don't like seeing people say things like they're not ready, or I can't, or I don't know how, and just use those as reasons to never do anything. And I'm not even saying you always have to do everything that sounds cool to you. I'm definitely not. Again, I think that scuba diving sounds really, really cool, but I don't want to do it. But there are going to be some things that are good for you, or that are right for you, or that you want to do, and that aren't going to hurt anyone else, and it's not going to hurt your own priorities and goals, so that you can go do it. But some of us self-sabotage so much that even the things that are right, that are good, and that we know that we're able to do, we just don't do them. We paralyze ourselves almost because of self-doubt or fear, or not thinking that we're good enough, or not thinking that we're capable. And I just always want to encourage you guys that you are capable. You are good enough. You can do it. Most of the things that you want to do, you can do. A lot of people think they can't. Oh, I'm not ready to start a business right now because I'm in college. People do that. And all that means is that it is possible. I'm not saying everyone should, or everyone even is going to succeed at it. All I'm saying is it is possible. And it's worth putting effort in. If it's something that you know could be really, really good for you and that you really want, it's worth putting the effort in and see. But put in real effort. Don't just say, oh, I'll try. And then you try for 3 days. Say you want to start a YouTube channel, you try for 3 days and then you give up. No, push through. Push harder than you think you might have to. But so saying, oh, I'm not ready. Even if you feel that you're not ready, kind of doesn't really matter. Kind of doesn't really matter what you feel all the time. And I know that's a strong opinion, but I think sometimes our feelings are really just trying to keep us down. And you might think, no, following your feelings is good. Okay, well, what if you have a feeling of self-doubt? What if you have low self-esteem or low self-confidence, or you don't think that you can do anything more than you're doing right now? Are those even real or true? No, they're feelings. Not all of our feelings are even true. And that's a really weird thing to wrap our head around, but not all of our feelings are based on true things. So even if you feel the self-doubt, I'm not saying you don't feel it. I understand that the feeling is real, but any action that comes after that, well, I'm not even going to try to do this because I'm definitely going to fail. How do you know? Go do it. Go work on it. Don't say you're not ready. Don't say you can't do it. I'm very, very, very big believer on the whether you think you can or can't, you're right. So if you tell yourself, I can't do that, then you won't, because you're not going to put the effort in, you're not going to put the focus in, and you're just not going to succeed at it. If you are stuck on the I can't do it, then you won't do it. And so it does have a lot of mindset shifts in terms of I have to kind of believe in myself at least a little bit. And a lot of you guys know I struggle with a lot of anxiety, depression, really negative self-talk. It takes a lot of strength to switch your focus to believing in yourself, even a little bit. It takes a lot of strength, but it's possible, and I believe in you, and I know that you can do it. I just want to, encourage you and challenge you a little bit. Anytime, over the next few days, maybe that you hear yourself say, oh, I can't do that. Just think about why, because maybe you can't. Maybe someone asked you to pick up 500 pounds. And you're like, I cannot do that. That is not safe. Okay, then that's fine. You're being honest with yourself. But if someone's like, oh, you should try karaoke, and you know what, you've always wanted to, but it just kind of scares you a little bit. So your initial reaction is, I can't do that. I'm not ready to do it. Why? Push yourself. Sometimes you gotta push yourself. It's very different though if you don't want to do it, or if you know it's not good for you, or if you know it's not right for you. That's different. Then that's okay. Don't do it. But then don't try to convince yourself that maybe you should. We all have different strengths and weaknesses and different things that we're supposed to be doing in this life. And so how we talk to ourselves really, really matters. And so I just kind of wanted to, again, encourage you and push you guys a little bit today in this video. It is a lot longer than I wanted it to be. You guys know that I could talk about this all the time, and I do, because I think it's really, really important. And honestly, I could probably keep talking about this for like 6 more hours, but I am going to cut the video off now. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know in the comments any other kind of mindset or psychology videos that you'd like to see from me, and also let me know in the comments your thoughts on this video. I'd really, really love to hear. So yeah, I really hope that you're subscribed and following me on Instagram, and I guess that's going to be it. Thanks again for watching, and I hope that you have a wonderful day. I love you, Jesus loves you, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.